One miss ball in hand is how I've been playing these last 3 videos. And it is what it sounds like. If you miss, your opponent gets ball in hand. If he misses, you get ball in hand. Some people think about it and they think that it's going to destroy the game because people are just going to start firing crazy shots and just, hope for luck and take the skill out of the game. But that's not what happens when you have good players playing it. What happens is you realize that being reckless has a consequence, a serious consequence. So if you're playing a good player and you just shoot at a crazy shot without thinking it through, you just get down and fire it, he's going to get ball in hand, and if he's a good player, he's going to run out. So what happens is it forces you to not get in those crazy positions. It forces you to start doing things more simple. And it forces you to think. In fact, it forces you to think a lot more. It brings in this whole new element where you can no longer play safe. So you have to worry more about getting right, staying right, and keeping things simple. Now, what happens also when you have 2 good players playing this is they start thinking after an hour or 2 of playing it, and if they get bad, they'll start tying up balls. So even when you have ball in hand, the balls are so tied up that you don't have a pocket for it. And you still have to go, so you swing at it and you miss and he gets ball in hand. So there's an unwritten rule here where you have to make a valid effort to shoot the ball and make the ball. It's been my experience on when people do try to play this way and they're not good players, they'll quit in about an hour, maybe a half hour, because they can't run out. They're not running out players. So, back to 8-ball or 9-ball. And you can play 8-ball this way, too. I love it. I just can't find anyone to play it. Not for long. And I think it is a really good game to play and practice. Play the ghost this way. And don't take ball in hand, break and round them out. So you don't make a ball on the break, you're paying a serious consequence, and now your opponent gets a ball in hand. So even on the break, it forces you to control the cue ball, know where the 1 ball is going, and to make one of those corner balls. A lot of times guys will just rear back and fire the break as hard as they can and let the cue ball loose and not really worry about it. And if they break dry, they're not really worried about it because you didn't get good shape on the 1 ball, so they're going to have a hard shot, and there's a good chance they're going to miss, and you're going to get ball in hand. It's just, it absolutely forces you to stop being stupid if you're playing a good player. As we take a look at this rack, we can see there's only 1 viable pocket for the 1 ball. As for the 2, there's basically 3 pockets, and they're all up table. The 3 ball has 2 pockets available. The 4 ball has 5 pockets available. The 5 ball has 4 pockets available. The 6 ball has 3 pockets available. And on this 7 ball, that 9 ball will get bumped out of the way along this line, so that 9 ball is not going to be there when we shoot the 7. So that's available in 1 pocket. As for the 8 ball, it's available in 5 pockets. And as for the 9, we're just going to have to wait until we get near it to see what we're going to do on the 9, because it's not going to be in that position. So here's what we have. And with all that information, there's probably dozens of ways, if not hundreds of ways, to run this table. It comes down to doing what makes the most sense and what you yourself are confident with. But here's a basic breakable rule almost all the time, probably 88, 89% of the time, you're shooting the object ball in the nearest pocket to the object. Now, of course, if there's, balls blocking that pocket, or it's impossible to get its shape, or, it's just an extreme cut that's going to throw you off, there are the exceptions, and they come up a lot. But most of the time, you're starting with the thought of shooting the object ball in the closest pocket to the object ball. Now, before getting down and shooting any ball on this table, you should immediately take note of the problems on the table and how they're going to affect whatever runout you choose. In this case, it's the 9 ball. It's a serious problem because you can run this rack perfectly and then get on the 7 ball and have no pocket for the 7. So it has to be taken care of, and these problems should be taken care of as soon as it's possible, as long as it's realistic to take care of it. So that leads us right into this 3 ball. If we get straight in on the 3, it's a cinch shot. You'd have to miss this really bad to miss the 3 because it has side rails off that 9 ball. So with that, we have determined that we're shooting that 3 ball down there in the corner, knocking that 9 ball out of the way of the 7, and having a clear, clean shot on the 4. We just have to get around that 6 ball when we shoot the 4. So the 4 ball's just sitting right there, so it's pretty obvious that we're shooting that 3 in the corner and taking care of a couple problems all at once. So with all that, that should determine the patterns that you begin to see and what's the best pattern for you personally with your style of play. So now that we know that we're getting up under that 3 ball to shoot it in that corner, what's the best position to get on the 2 ball to get up behind that 3? And once we cinch the 3 and get the 9 ball out of the way, as long as the 9 ball doesn't get, tied up with another ball, this should be a gravy out once we pass the 3 ball. So here's your 3 options on shooting the 1 ball. And that was wrong. If you chose option A, you were right because it leaves you center table in that perfect 30-degree angle to get right in back of the 3 ball. The big reason option B and the one I chose is wrong is because I took a big chance in getting straight in on the 2. And if that happens and you get straight in, you're going to play hell getting on the 3 ball, and you're going to have to roll it up toward this corner pocket and take a hard shot on the 3, and then you're cutting the cue ball loose on the 4. So the whole shebang is about keeping control of the game and keeping it simple. So I'm getting off to a bad start. And option C is wrong too, for the same reason. You're taking a big chance and getting straight in on the 2. So let's take a look at the 2 ball shot. This is what we wind up with, and here are your options. I chose option A, and I just wanted to play it safe and get behind this 3 ball because I know it's an easy shot unless I just totally botch the shot altogether. So my whole agenda was to get behind the 3, and I could have done that with option C, which we'll get to. I didn't want to play center table, which is option B, because when I shoot that 3, I'm going to be cutting the cue ball loose, and you never ever want to lose control of the cue ball. So option B is a bad option. And I would normally play option C and just draw stun it, back to the right hand side, but I was jacked up on that shot, and the 6 ball had me jacked up. and you're just a little too shaky there to hit, a confident draw shot. I thought about it, but then I was like, no, I've got my bridge all jacked up in the air. That's a bad option. So I just cinched the shot, went down toward the corner pocket, and tried to get as straight in as I could on the 3. And now let's take a look at our options on the 3-ball shot. I chose option C, and this is a drag shot. If you don't know what that is, I'm going to put a link for you up in the top right hand corner. And basically, you're just spinning the cue ball backwards most of the way to the 3-ball, and then for a split second it skids along the table, and then it turns into top. And basically what you're doing is slowing that cue ball down so it doesn't roll too far down table. So it's definitely a finesse control shot, but it's not as hard as it looks. Just practice it and you'll be fine. And the main reason I shot this is because I'm trying to get straight in on that left-hand side pocket for the 4-ball. And then I should have an easy out after that if I can get by that 6-ball. I didn't choose option A because I don't want to shoot that 4-ball in the corner, and you'll be jacking up way too much on this cue ball, which means you're going to lose precision and control of that cue ball. And I didn't choose option B, which is a stop shot, because it puts me off angle on the 4, and I'm going to have to go to that left-hand side rail when I shoot the 4 to get behind the 5 and shoot the 5 in the right-hand side. It's just a lot can go wrong right there, and you're doing too much work. Alright, let's move along to the 4-ball shot. Went with option B and just hit this ball very softly, just to roll up about an inch and get straight in on the line for the 5 for shot on the 5 in the bottom left-hand corner. And all 3 of these shots call for just a hair of top and straight top, no left or right, because none of these shots call for English. Plus you're on the rail, so you have to put top, a little bit of top on this anyway, unless you want to jack all the way up, and that's never a good option. Option A is a carom off the 6-ball, and there's no reason to shoot this. We want that 6-ball exactly where it is, and we don't want to disrupt that, and this also makes the 4-ball very missable. Option C is for people that don't trust their stroke or their eyes, or just didn't take a good enough look at this 4-ball shot. Other than that, there's no reason to shoot a bank here. This is a difficult shot. Banks are all difficult, and you should avoid them if you can. I chose option A, which was a simple stop shot on the 5, because it leaves me perfect on the 6, and that's pretty much all there is to it. Option B is to draw back about a foot, and there's really no logical reason to do that. Now you have a semi-difficult cut on the 6, and you could let the cue ball loose on the 7. Option C was to put follow on this and follow closer to the left-hand side rail, so you have a straight-in shot on the 6 up in the top left-hand corner, and there's just no reason to do that. So let's go ahead and take a look at our options on the 6-ball. I chose to slightly draw this back a couple inches on the angle because my agenda is to get straight in on the 7. And that was depicted in option C. Option A is for people that are just trying too hard and I think they need to get on top of the 8 ball. You're taking a big chance of getting stuck behind this 9 ball and making a big mistake. And option B is a simple stop shot, but it leaves you at a slight angle on the 7, and it's going to complicate the matter of getting on the 8. So let's go take a look at the options on the 7 ball. So here's what we have left, and you can cheat this 7 ball in that pocket if you wish and you need more of an angle. So as you witness, because I was straight in on the 7, and I could have cheated the pocket, I chose to just hit a simple stop shot on the 7 and take the long shot on the 8. Option A just doesn't make any logical sense. Why would you stun this ball off the rail and cheat that 7 ball in the pocket just a little bit, only to get on the same place you're going to get if you just stop the cue ball and hit dead center pocket? And option B, remember how we talked about most shots, 88, 87% of shots are shot in the closest pocket. Well, there's exceptions to this, and this is the exception. But some people get it stuck in their head that they have to do this all the time, and they don't. It's become such a mental habit that that's what they do automatically without thinking about it. So the objective now is to think about it. So you saw I chose option B and just hit a simple stop shot, and I also slow rolled that ball into the pocket. Option A would have to be shot with a little bit more force with bottom right hand English just a little bit, and it's just not worth it. I mean, you're almost there, so why complicate anything now? Yeah, option C is shot with a whole lot of bottom right, but I don't know why anyone would do this. Oh yeah, it's that shoot the ball in the closest pocket thing. Well, you gotta get that out of the head. Don't do this. Think. Okay, now we're going to do the loop back, but stay tuned after the loop back because I want to respond to a comment I just got moments ago while I was working on this video. Dog had left a comment on my last video, and I just find that topic really fascinating. And I spent a lot of time watching Casey Neistat videos and became a real heavy Casey Neistat fan. And when Casey first hit it big, he had thousands of people literally plagiarizing and just copying his work almost word for word. And it was really obscene, and I was angry for him. And he got angry about it too. But he didn't let that destroy him. Every time somebody copied him, he pushed it all up a notch and got better. And that's, there's a big lesson in there. And I know this format's going to get copied. And it's going to be plagiarized. And that has happened to me in the past, not necessarily with pool videos, but with other stuff. And at first I'll get really angry about it. And then I'll be like, this is stupid. I'm just going to quit. I mean, these people couldn't make a video to save their life, so they have to copy somebody else. Most of these guys can't even run an editing program, at least with any level of competence. And you really have to put it in perspective. So after a day or two of just being like, fuck this, I'll dig deeper and I'll do what Casey did and I'll say, okay, this is going to happen. I can sit here and just let it kill me, or I could fire back harder and get better. And push it all up a notch to where, they'll wind up copying that. And keep on pushing it. So nobody that copied Casey ever made anywhere near the amount of money and had as much success as Casey Neistat. And he was the original. And the great thing about publishing your work on the internet, as long as you don't delete it, is it's timestamped, it's dated. So there's rock solid evidence on who was the first, who was the pioneer, and whatever. And there's always going to be a level of copying that isn't really copying. It's that your work is inspiring others. The first guy who sampled music, took tiny samples of some hook in a song and turned it into another song. He was copying the original composer, right? Usually with their permission, totally legal. And then when that guy who was taking samples found all that success, now you have thousands of other people, if not hundreds of thousands of other people sitting in studios and using samples to create their song. So, when you have a great idea, people are going to both blatantly copy it and just be inspired by it and say, okay, I want to do that. So you have to put all that in perspective. You can't act like you own the idea. Your best course of action is to say, okay, I'm leaving them behind again and pushing it up another notch to where the more incompetent people can't copy it. It's so unique and it takes so much work and creativity and brain cells that they can't. You're just going to leave them behind. They're going to have to be stuck with the old thing that they did, and while you're going on to new horizons. And it's just the way you have to do it, because you can't stop it. I don't own my ideas. I don't, you can't copyright an idea. You can copyright the product, but you can't stop people from copying an idea.